Stick a fork in 2018, it's done. I welcome 2019 with this year's edition of 5 bold Tesla predictions for 2019. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 481 for the final day of the year, December 31st, 2018. This show is sponsored by my supporter, Richard. If you're in the market for a Model S, X, or 3, please consider using his referral code. Ask your salesman to use code Richard174 or go direct to the web link ts.la/Richard174 for 6 months of free supercharging or 9 months free supercharging if you make your order without having ever taken a test drive. Okay, I'm going to start this by prefacing that I have not forgotten about my 5 bold predictions for 2018. It's just we've not yet received delivery numbers for Q4 yet, and I really want to have that so that I can note where I was on Model 3 delivery predictions. No matter what, the jury will be out on one of my predictions for a while, as that has to do with profitability, and we likely won't know that until February. Another thing that I feel like is worth saying is that I have zero inside Tesla knowledge. I'm just a guy sitting here in Ohio. So all of these predictions are just wild guesses coming from the seat of my pants. With that said, here is this edition of 5 bold Tesla predictions for 2019. We will start with Model 3 predictions for 2019. 2018 was undoubtedly the year of Model 3. But not all is settled yet with Tesla's industry-disrupting car. We still haven't seen the promised $35,000 version, and at least as of last month, Elon said that Tesla would lose money on every car if they began to produce them now. I think both as a stopgap for folks looking for that base model, and as a test for base battery production, the mid-range model was released to great success. But where does that leave us on the base Model 3? I have 3 Model 3 related predictions for you. First up, and I think the boldest and probably most controversial of all these predictions, is that while I believe the base Model 3 will release this year at the $35,000 price point for delivery in quarter 3, I think before the year is out, the base price will be increased to $40,000 US. Tesla is a year and a half through producing Model 3 and is still unable to get the cost to where it needs to be in order to produce the base model at a profit. Forget a significant profit, they can't do it yet for any profit, and this is a problem. I believe that Tesla will release it for a short time at the promised price to satisfy the demand of the folks that were on the reservation list, and then shortly after the reservation list is finally cleared, the price will be raised in order to create breathing room for the production of the car. Reducing the cost of an already stripped-down version of the car by nearly 10% more just to break even will not be easy, and Tesla, after this production hell has been exited, will be looking to make things as easy on themselves as possible. Prediction number 2 related to Model 3 is again related to the base model of Model 3. Folks, we are never going to see the metal roof version of this car. We've not even seen prototypes of the version running around, and with all the attention that's been on Model 3, I'd be stunned if they've somehow managed to keep this under wraps for all this time. It's a phantom, and it's not coming. When you think about it, it makes no sense for Tesla to do this. They do not produce any version of a vehicle with a metal roof at this point. Dealing with that metal roof will increase production variability, and frankly, it will make a gorgeous car considerably less gorgeous by throwing that hunk of metal in there. This is also a throwback to the last prediction, as eating the cost of that glass again will be super difficult when trying to make a profitable base model. And lastly, for the Model 3 side of these predictions, dovetailing with both of the last 2 predictions, the premium interior version of the car will just be made standard, just as it was with Model S, justifying the price bump of the base car to $40,000. In yet another production variability move, Tesla will include the premium upgrades package in the base vehicle. Why deal with non-powered seats, different versions of the mirrors, and 2 audio systems, among other things, on a model you're trying to simplify as much as possible for production streamlining? Tesla has surely looked at this and decided that pushing more cars through the assembly line is more important than the extra effort required to keep the base car at $35,000. The doubt in my mind is whether the non-premium model ever ships, or if Tesla just says the heck with it, make the $35,000 base cars with the premium interior for the short time the base car sells at that price. I'm thinking more of the latter due to the logistics side of that equation. Why put in an order for, say, 40,000 sets of parts you'll never use again, when you could just keep your parts list as is and leave things less complicated? The answer is, you don't. You include the premium parts, enjoy the margin bump, and move on to designing the Model Y production lines. Which segues nicely into predictions 4 and 5 about Model Y. Model Y will finally be the vehicle where Tesla quote-unquote gets it with production. They're not going to make this one any more complex for themselves than they need to, which, when designing a more mass-market vehicle, is a big deal, and hopefully, please for the love of all that is good, they've learned their lesson from the hell they put themselves in when designing Model X and Model 3. To that end, Model Y will totally crib Model 3's interior with the single center screen and no binnacle, seating 5 comfortably, and most notably, will not include Model X's Falcon Wing doors. I know originally Model Y was to have them, but being that they would have to design new doors to fit the smaller vehicle, and can't just plop Model X doors on there, I get the feeling for both price and complexity's sake, there is no way those doors make it to Model Y. If you want fancy doors, you're gonna have to pay the premium for Model X. And lastly, will be my predictions for the battery specs and price of Model Y. As we're all well aware, Model 3 is supposed to start at $35,000 and will eventually have battery options that grant 215, 260, and 310 miles of range. By the way, we'll see how long that mid-range option sticks around once the standard range model finally ships. My prediction is this. Model Y will have 2 battery options. Long range will grant 300 miles, and standard range will grant 230 miles. And the cost of that base 230 mile standard range Model Y, $52,000. This will put them in the ballpark with the difference between the base Model S and my predicted base Model 3, with a $32,000 spread between base models. I think after lessons learned on the base Model 3, they'll ensure they give themselves plenty of room for margin on the base version of Model Y. And if they're able, as they've shown in the past, they'll drop the price once the production process allows. Much better to drop pricing later than to raise it, as I'm predicting will happen with Model 3. Oh, and just one more thing. A bonus prediction, as it were. We'll be waiting for earnings numbers for a month or so yet for Q4 and full year, so it'll be a bit before we'll see if I ended up being correct on my 2 profitable quarters prediction from last year. I feel that I'm going to get the credit for that one personally, but I digress. My 2019 prediction is that Tesla will see full year profitability with 3 of 4 quarters showing in the black. I get the feeling with a pile of debt coming due that at least 1 quarter will suffer due to that, or I'd predict all 4. But I'm pretty confident the company will show profit for the 2019 fiscal year, and the shorts will at long last be headed for the hills, never to be heard from again. That is it for 2018. I hope you all have had a wonderful holiday season, and as always, I thank each and every one of you for listening. The show doesn't exist without people to listen to it, and as it turns out, quite a few of you do. I look forward to what 2019 has in store for the show, as well as Tesla. I have one last prediction, one I'm just throwing out there and being really vague on. You thought Tesla's 2018 was great? Folks, 2019 is going to be the year of Tesla. Between full completion of Model 3 production models, the unveiling of Model Y, my predicted full year of profitability, and whatever other shenanigans Tesla might throw at us, Tesla is poised to skyrocket in 2019. I hope you hang with me for the ride. There is no links to full stories in the show description because this was all my own production this time. But you're already likely on the internet, so since you're out there, please consider supporting the show financially through Patreon at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. Thanks as always to our super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are John Waltower, Drew Schuyler, John Waller, Mark and Sarah Thomas, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Bruno Kundici, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Raymer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Robert Healy, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Blake Thompson, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Michael Pastroni, Travis and Cheyenne Rush, Cookie UK, Chris Hovis, Craig Murphy, and Vicky Kirk. Thank you all so much for your support over the past year. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Happy New Year, everybody. I'll see everyone back here again on Friday. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.